Now, the Independent Electoral Commission earlier today held a media briefing where an array of issues were on the agenda, including the state of readiness for the upcoming local government elections. Let's talk more about this now. We speak to Chief Electoral Officer of the IEC, that is Mamabolo. Mr. Mamabolo, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. So, the preparation ahead of the local government elections would perhaps be a great start. Let's start then with the calendar within which the elections must be held.
Good evening, Bonwe and your viewers. The term of the current municipal councils comes to an end on the 2nd of November 2026. Therefore, an election must happen within 90 days of that date, which means an election is possible from the beginning of November right through to the end of January 2027. The minister responsible for local government, in this case, Minister Velenkosi Shabisa, is responsible for setting and calling an election date. He does so after consultation with the Commission.
And when you look at the number of political parties or contestants, it seems there's an increase there. How are you preparing them?
Look, the number of political parties is increasing. As we indicated, as at today, there are 472 political parties on the register. Many of them are unrepresented in legislative assemblies and therefore have either participated without success before or will be the first entrants in the electoral context. It is therefore incumbent upon us as the Commission to ensure that we give them information necessary for their meaningful participation. On that basis, we are planning a consultation sessions in all provinces from the beginning of November, so that at least a year ahead of the election, we bring necessary information to them so that they may make the necessary preparation for participation.
And, you know, with the increase, of course, sometimes may come more challenges, more disputes. How are you preparing for this? Because we've seen this being an area of contention in the past as well.
Yeah, certainly. For instance, in last year's election, there were no less than 88 court applications challenging various aspects of the electoral process. We do think that giving people information early on might assist, but nonetheless, we've got to plan on the basis that the litigation is going to increase manifold, and we are beefing up. We have plans rather to beef up our legal capacity so that when those challenges come, we can be able to respond to them. But I think the most crucial part really is for the Commission to stay true to the letter of the law, because it is the only way that can ensure that we prevail in those cases. Otherwise, if we veer off from the letter of the law, we'll probably not be in a position to defend our actions. Yeah. And that will lead to arbitrary decision-making, which is inimical to a credible electoral process.
And speaking about contested spaces, right, we've seen in the past, even with some communities unhappy about the demarcation board's decisions, for example, when it comes to, how they would then be making decisions around some of the wards, etc. And then you see some communities then deciding to take to the streets, unhappy about this decision, leading to, obviously some delays in the process or even the work of the demarcation board being impacted. Let's speak about those boundaries and where you are as the IEC currently and where the board is when it comes to some of those matters.
Yes, the responsibility for the delimitation of municipal wards is within the statutory purview of the board. They have indicated to us that they will be handing over the final wards boundaries to the Commission or at the end of October 2025, bar 18 cases which are residual, but the bulk will be received by the Commission at the end of October. Of course, it does appear preliminary that there were areas of challenge. There always are. Demarcation is a contested phenomenon. Communities may be aggrieved by one or the other decision of the board, which really makes our lives difficult, because the tendency is for the aggrieved communities to direct their disquiet at the IEC when we run voter registration processes. So we hope that the engagement that the board has had with communities would have served to allay any disquiet that members of communities may have.
And just before I let you go, two issues pop up, right? The issues around the political party funding. You had the conference, and one of the issues, of course, is around adequacy when it comes to the funding disclosure requirements, but also interesting, right? There's now some who are raising the importance of extending the political funding support to the local government sphere.
Yes, indeed. One of the issues that was raised quite strongly in the symposium is that considerations must be made to extend the funding regime, the public funding regime to be specific, to the local sphere of government. Now, it's a very weighty national policy matter, and I think Parliament will have to deliberate on that, engage with Minister Kotongwana in his capacity as Minister responsible for National Treasury, so that a decision can then be made. But the issue was raised with us quite seriously on the occasion of the symposium.
And there is another issue that when I was listening earlier on really worried me, and it's around some of the developments we've seen. The fake job adverts. In a country like ours, a lot of young people looking for employment, and others also could be duped into clicking into links that they purport to be the links of the IEC. Let's warn members of the public, because you do have people who are desperately looking to see if you would be hiring and may fall prey to some of these scammers.
Oh, absolutely. It's a matter of overriding concern that the desperation of young people, especially who are seeking employment, is being used in a deceptive way to take their personal details. So we want to warn our young persons, we want to warn persons looking for employment that please use the official website of the Commission and authentic social media platforms of the Commission. Our website is elections.org.za, nothing else. So every time you have something which requires you to fill in your personal details, if it purports to be from the IEC, look at the URL to confirm that it comes from the IEC by checking whether it has www.elections.org.za. It's very important.
All right, elections.org.za, that is the website there. Do not fall prey to any other thing. Thank you so much, Mr. Mamabolo, for your time. Appreciate it. Thanks for speaking to us this evening. That was the Chief Electoral Officer, Mamabolo. The website again, it's elections.org.za. Do not fall prey to any other scammers. We're seeing some online scammers really targeting some of the young people. They're purporting to be of some, work opportunities.